Alright everyone, it's time for the Occult video number 377. Don't be a mall Wiccan. Now, this is not about Wicca as an overarching thing. Hedge Wiccas is pretty fun. And it's not about people who are on the New Age side of spirituality who generally, they have some sort of beliefs in it. So they might be a westernized Buddhist, Buddhist in name, but they believe in it. Well, at least they're doing some positive practices like yoga or meditation or something like that. That's not what I'm referring to here. This is actually a little bit of a takeoff of that Trump juror there from Georgia that is going on a media blitz, which is extremely legally ill-advised, but she seems to be on methamphetamine perhaps or something like that. And the Pinterest page that was pulled up actually and found to be hers. And what is it? It's a slurry of Google Images results that are about medicinal and magical herbs and crystals and alchemy concepts and stuff like that. And what a mall Wiccan is someone who uses that aesthetic, that chic, so to speak, but they don't really understand what they're reading. So, let's say that you adopt sort of a New Age system. So you want the crystals and the fortune telling and the scented candles and stuff like that. That's fine. Ask the person about the minutia of that system that they have endorsed, that spiritual system. Do you actually know anything about the crystals? Like, do you actually know off the top of your head what they're for? Or do you have a picture that you got on Google Images or a cheap paperback on the subject that you cracked open and you skimmed a couple of times and now you have it on your coffee table next to your Starbucks latte and your iPhone? The mall Wiccan would fall into the latter category. I'm not referring to people who actually know something about those topics. Maybe they just do like the aesthetic. Maybe it's, hey, I'm a hedge Wiccan. Oh, why? Well, I have a black cat and I like Harry Potter and cauldrons and I got a bunch of herbs around and they smell nice and I cook with them as well. Okay, you're cooking with the herbs? Okay, so you know something about them. You're not a mall Wiccan. You've actually got some sort of skill related to that. For example, I know a huge amount about medicinal herbs. Now, I don't practice Wicca or anything like that, but I know a great deal about them. I've edited works on them. I've always been interested in gardening, etc., etc., etc. I can actually walk the walk, not just plop pictures from Google Images of random medicinal herbs with, shitty write-ups like a tweet or something. I can do much more than that. There are some people that are seemingly, on the surface, they're interested in such things, but then they're completely vacuous when you actually try to talk to them about it. Well, I don't really know. I'm into demonology. Oh, really? And can you name, what's your favorite demon from the Gosha? Satan? There are people that are sort of like that. I think that a lot of it is that people just sort of want to fit in, and they feel attracted to the aesthetic, and so they take up a really, really topical analysis of the subject, like the Trump juror, and they'll have the Pinterest or the Insta page or Twitter or TikTok or whatever, and it'll be exceptionally surface level and topical, like you can tell that all they did was Google the topic, and then they took the first picture that they saw there that looked pretty and they put it on there and said, hashtag witchy things or something like that. That is a mall Wiccan. It would also tie in, I suppose we can talk, it'll be my new tech exclusive today, about Marianne Williamson jumping into the Dem race. Yes, Joe Biden is being primaried by a real serious opponent. I've suggested that she should open up like a crystal store in the local strip mall where she tells fortunes and sells incense. That would seem to be more of her kind of spiritual forte. It's even worse when it's a public official now, isn't it? Now, people of all religious stripes do this. Plenty of the people who say Jesus, Jesus do not know the man, for example. It's in your Bible for a reason. Many who say, Lord, Lord, will not come before me. Depart from me, worker of iniquity, thou knowest me not. In the case of spirituality of that sort, New Age, Wicca again, anything remote, I practice sorcery, and I like alchemy. There are a lot of people who will talk about it topically, but then they're brain dead. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Public officials do this again all the time. Usually during campaign season, you'll see them in the church or the synagogue or at the temple then. They seem to be notably absent the rest of the year. All those very Christian individuals seem to have a lot more Saint Nick than they do Jesus, for example. With mall Wicca, you get the same thing. You also get a weird fusion ideology sometimes where you'll say, like, I'm practicing witchcraft, but then you'll find elements from like 7 or 8 different cultures, but they wouldn't know what cultures they're from. Like, there's no historical understanding either. I don't have a problem with the mixed pantheon sort of thing. If somebody wants to take spell work from the Norse and from Anglo-Saxon paganism and Slavic paganism and China and stuff and mash it together, that's fine. As long as they actually understand that they're from disparate cultures and traditions and the meaning behind them and can describe something beyond what Google will tell you about their own experiences with things like magic. The inauthentic side really is nothing more than clout seeking, seeking to fit in, or in some cases, again, seeking power. You're keeping up appearances. So like, yeah, we go to church. You go to church once a year or something, so the neighbors see you bowing your head solemnly. Oh, what a good Christian. And then you go home and, you're doing crazy shit. You get binging on cocaine or something like that. It's the inauthenticity, I think, that rankles me most. I just wanted to point out the existence of mall Wiccans, although you could say mall spiritualists, I suppose. It goes far beyond Wicca. I've just noticed that among certain political and social blocs, Wicca seems to be the biggest lightning rod for this kind of non-practice practice, as it were. That and neo-paganism. People who say praise Odin, they don't know anything about Norse religion whatsoever. Nothing about the history, the culture, nothing about the practices. What's your favorite Norse god? It'll be Odin or Loki or something like that, something very basic. They don't even know that Gandalf was a cane elf and not a tall dude with a long staff. It was more of a dwarven character, actually, perhaps. That's about all. Peace out.